Hello, today we'll be determining the domain and range of a figure or of any diagram within a coordinate plane. And a range is considered to be our y's and the domain or our x values. And in graphing the domain and range, we're simply graphing the interval between the smallest and the largest of each component. So let's look at how to do that. Let me just set up something for you. Since we're going to first talk about our x, which is the domain, I'm just going to write x here. So that is the values, our interval values. So you're going to have the smallest x will be to your left, and the most the x can be to your right. So let's look at the diagram here. So I'm just going to use a shade. And so I'm going to go and use a shade. I'm going to cover everything to the left of the X and move it. So if I were to cover everything to the left and I'm moving it, looking at the X value, as I move it, at what point do I finally see the point? It's right there. Let's see, what is that point? That is -2, 0. So the X, the smallest the X can be, is your -2. So let me go ahead and write that down. So that's the smallest. So everything else to the right is larger than a -2. So we're going to put our less than. Since it is shaded here, it's not an open circle, so it's less than or equal to. That's our first equation. We're going to have a combo equation here, or a combo inequality. So -2 is less than or equal to x. Now let's see what's the most it can be. Let's just do our shade again. And if we keep moving it, looking at the x, the line X, which is looking at the domain, and we keep moving it. At what point does it end? You don't see you see the last point of the diagram. The last point is at 2. So the smallest number is 2. So, or the largest number, I'm sorry, is 2. So that's the last point is 2. Everything to the left of 2 is smaller, okay? Since there is no open circle here, it's less than or equal to. So here, our domain for the x value of this figure, the domain is -2. It's less than or equal to x. Is less than or equal to +2 is our domain. Now let's look at our range. Let me set it up in black. All right. So our range is the y value. So we're going to put our y in to hold the space. But we know we have an interval between. And so we're either going to have less than or greater than in these. I'm going to put a box just in case it's less than or equal to. You're going to need a little none. So we're going to put our intervals in a box here. And here will be our numbers. Now, let's use the same shade. What is the smallest our y can be? Okay, we see our smallest our y can be is -3. So we're going to start here. The smallest number is -3. Okay, so since it's smaller, that means that y's are bigger than, so that's less than, because it's not an open circle, so it's less than or equal to. So let's shade it again. What's the largest our y can be? You got it. The largest is 2. So the largest is 2. So we know everything to the left of 2 is smaller. So we're going to make that a less than or equal to. That's not a U. That is a less than sign. Okay, shall I erase and start over? Okay, I want to make sure you understand. So we're going to make this one in black. This is less than or equal to. Now we're going to go over a few more diagrams and see if you can do it on your own.